Good evening, everyone. This is Victor Echo 6 Hotel Foxtrot calling the Alberta Public Service Net. This is a direct net and is organized for the public service and convenience of all radio amateurs and is part of the national traffic system. Single sideband and CW will be recognized. This net meets daily at 0130 UTC on or about 3700 kilohertz. All stations except CW, please zero beat this frequency. In CW stations, please position your carrier down approximately 800 hertz so we can receive a nice clear tone. Any station having emergency traffic while this net is in session will be recognized by giving a double break and then identifying themselves to net control. Your net control this evening is Victor Echo 6 Hotel Foxtrot. My name is Ryan, Romeo Yankee Alpha November, and I'm located 34 kilometers south of Camrose at Red Deer Lake near Farintosh, Alberta. Tonight, we are live streaming via YouTube. This can be found by a simple YouTube search of the Alberta Public Service Net, APSN, and today's date of April 4th, 2024. Do we have any net bulletins or announcements this evening? Is there any word of sick or hospitalized amateurs or silent keys? Are there any mobile, portable, or QRP stations that wish to check the net this evening?
86 Echo Sierra Alpha.
Good evening, Dawn. Victor Echo 6 Echo Sierra Alpha.
Good evening, Ryan. And I work QRU and in and out for us, and I'm on the battery tonight. Over.
Sounds great. Thanks for checking, Dawn. Any further check-ins, a mobile, portable, or QRP? Victor Alpha 7 Bravo November. Good evening.
Hi there, Ryan. Good. Great 10 over to 20 over signal into Creston tonight. We're running on batteries and solar panel and no traffic and also in and out tonight. So have a good night.
Sounds great. Thanks for checking, Ed. You're a solid S7 here. And there was a station underneath, Ed. Go ahead. Okay, I've still got a few stations there. Did I hear a Victor Quebec?
Yeah, Victor Echo 6 Juliet Quebec, CRU line.
Victor Echo 6 Juliet Quebec. Thank you for checking. Appreciate it. And good evening, Cliff. Victor Echo 6 Charlie Fox.
Good evening to yourself and all the happy members you've got associated and nominated with you. We have no traffic, surprisingly enough. And we'd like to clear the frequency from Victor Echo 6, Charlie Fox, portable DD3.
That sounds great. Thanks for checking. You have a nice readable signal tonight, Cliff. Have a great evening. Any further check-ins, mobile, portable, or QRP?
Victor Alpha 7 Kilo.
Victor
Romeo Victor.
Echo 7 Kilo. Good evening.
Yes, Victor Alpha 7 Kilo, earning quite reasonable power. No traffic from Watson.
Okay, my apologies. Victor Alpha 7 Kilo. Thanks for checking, Gerard, and have a great evening. And was there a Victor Echo 6 a Romeo Victor in there?
Victor Alpha 6 Romeo Victor. Bob in Edmonton running 3 watts.
And a very nice signal for 3 watts. Thank you for checking. We have you in the log. Any further check-ins, mobile, portable, or QRP? And nothing heard. Does anyone want to list traffic or make a station-to-station call? And nothing heard. We'll now move into the sections. And just a reminder, if you plan to leave early, let me know. And that way, if someone's looking for you later on, we know that you've already left. So being Thursday, we're going to start off looking for check-ins Red Deer to Calgary.
Victor Echo 6 Hotel Papa Yankee.
Good evening, John. Victor Echo 6 Hotel Papa Yankee.
Yeah, good evening, Ryan. Good evening to everyone else. And no traffic from the Red Deer County, just north of the city.
And thanks for checking from Red Deer County. You're 10 over 9 into my station. And there is a station underneath, John, ending in Alpha. Go ahead.
Yeah, Victor Echo 6 Romeo Lima Alpha.
Victor Echo 6 Romeo Lima Alpha. Good evening, Rick.
Yeah, good evening, Ryan. No traffic from Olds.
And thanks for checking from Olds. Any further check-ins? Red Deer to Calgary.
Victor Alpha 6, Romeo Mike Oscar.
Good evening, Rainer. Victor Alpha 6, Romeo Mike Oscar.
Good evening, Ryan. And QRU.
QRU is just fine. Thanks for checking. Any further check-ins? Red Deer to Calgary.
VA 6, okay.
And good evening, Dale. VA6, okay.
Yeah, good evening, Ryan, and everyone on the net. Nothing to report from my station tonight. 73.
And no news is good news. Thanks for checking, Dale, and 73 to you as well. Any further check-ins? Red Deer to Calgary.
Victor Echo 6, Foxtrot, Lima Hotel.
Victor Echo 6, Foxtrot, Lima Hotel. Good evening, Dave.
Yeah, good evening, Ryan. Dandy Signal and Empress here. Hello to everybody on net. And I have no traffic from Empress, over.
Okay, that sounds great. You have a dandy signal here as well. You're 10 over 9. Thanks for checking. Appreciate it. Any further check-ins? Red Deer to Calgary.
Victor Echo 6, November Lima.
Victor Echo 6, November Lima. Top of the evening to you, Neil.
And to you from the other side of Empress. And hello to my compatriot in the east. I have nothing from Grand Town of Empress, over.
Sounds great. Thank you for checking. Any further check-ins? Edmonton, Red Deer to Calgary. Any further check-ins? Red Deer to Calgary.
37 in Georgia has a question, please.
And go ahead.
What's the, I like to look at your YouTube thing, but I don't know what they're entering there, over.
So if you go to YouTube and simply type into the search bar, Alberta Public Service Net, and today's date of, April 4th, 2024, it should come up.
Okay, thank you very much, and QRU.
Okay, I have you in the log. Thanks for checking, Vern. Any further check-ins? Red Deer to Calgary.
Victor Echo 6, Delta Alpha.
Victor Echo 6, Delta Alpha. Good evening, Walt.
Yeah, good evening, from beautiful downtown Calgary. No traffic. Didn't have a good night there, but and in and out. Thank you very much.
Sounds great. Thank you for checking. Any further check-ins? Red Deer to Calgary. Do we have any check-ins, Calgary?
Victor Echo 6, Tango Whiskey Papa.
Good evening, Terry. Victor Echo 6, Tango Whiskey Papa.
Good evening, Ryan. No traffic from my station in West Calgary. Lots of snow down here.
Yeah, I saw some pictures. There is some snow down there. Thanks for checking, Terry. Any further check-ins, Calgary?
Victor Echo 6, Papa Radio.
Victor Echo 6, Papa Radio. Good evening.
Good evening, Ryan. No traffic.
Okay, great. Thanks for checking, Doug. Any further check-ins, Calgary? Okay, I think I heard Victor Echo 6, Bravo Lima Charlie. Good evening. And you have your early out. Thanks for checking. And did I hear Owen as well? Victor Echo 6, Alpha Lima Charlie?
Certainly did, Ryan. Good evening to all. No traffic. Thank you.
And thank you very much for checking. Any further check-ins, Calgary?
Victor Echo 6, Lima Romeo.
Oh, I almost fell out of my chair there, Lindsay. You have a loud signal tonight. Good evening.
Yeah, band seems pretty good shape. Very good evening to you, and good evening to all on net. QRU, and I'll be around.
Sounds great. I appreciate your help. Thanks, Lindsay. Any further check-ins, Calgary? Last call for Calgary before we move on. Okay, this is Victor Echo 6 Hotel Foxtrot with the Alberta Public Service Net and live streaming to YouTube. Do we have any check-in Southern Alberta?
Victor, Sierra, Charlie Lima.
Victor Echo 6 Sierra Charlie Lima. Good evening.
Evening, Ryan. No traffic from Sterling, and we don't have any snow. Anyway, I'd like an early out.
And you have your early out. Thanks for checking, Steve. And I also heard a Victor Alpha 6 Sierra Yankee Sierra. Good evening, Dave.
Yeah, good evening, Ryan. I got you loud and clear in the left pitch. I have no traffic, and the YouTube search was just Alberta Public Service Net, and then look down the list.
Sounds great. Thanks for checking there. Appreciate it, Dave. Any further check-ins, Southern Alberta?
6 Juliet Zulu November.
Okay, Victor Echo 6, Juliet Zulu November. Good evening, Dave, and I'm guessing Hillary as well?
Yeah, Roger. Good evening to you and everyone else on the net. No traffic from either of us. We got some snow, but it's melting. It's been above zero a little bit most of the day, and it's gradually melting.
Don't forget to feed the dogs and take them for a walk.
No problem.
Sounds great. Thank you for checking, and we have you both in the log. Thanks for the twofer. And Brian, good evening. Victor Echo 6, X-Ray, X-Ray.
Okay, good evening, Ryan. I have no traffic for the net, but I will be here for the duration.
And nothing for the net is fine, and thank you for the help later on. We'll call on you shortly. Any further check-ins, Southern Alberta?
Victor Echo 6, Hotel November in Cardston.
Victor Echo 6, Hotel November. Good evening, Larry.
Good evening. Can we have an early out, please?
And most certainly you can. Thank you for checking. Any further check-ins, Southern Alberta?
Victor Echo 6, Bravo Golf Romeo.
Victor Echo 6, Bravo Golf Romeo. Good evening, Barry.
Good evening, Ryan. Everyone else on the net. Really nice signal into Oxbridge tonight. And I have no traffic, and can I have an early out, please?
And I'll mark you down accordingly. Thanks for checking, Barry. Any further check-ins, Southern Alberta? Okay, we have a Victor Echo 6 ARR and Victor Echo 6 AYR. Bob and Antoinette with no traffic. Thanks for checking. And there is a station underneath. Bob, go ahead. A further check-in, Southern Alberta. Victor Echo 6, Charlie Tango Mike. Good evening, Bill. And you have your early out. Thanks for checking. Any further check-ins, Southern Alberta?
Victor Echo 6, Kilo, Victor Alpha 6, Romeo Delta.
Okay, there is a station, Victor Echo 6, a kilo question mark. Can you fill the call?
Victor Echo 6, Kilo, Echo, no traffic from good to see you there on YouTube. Always nice to see what the person on the other end looks like back to you.
Okay, that sounds really good. I'm glad you were able to find me on YouTube. Thanks for checking, Joel. Appreciate it. And was there a Victor Echo 6, Romeo Oscar Delta in there?
Victor Alpha 6, Romeo Oscar Delta, Rod from Medicine Hat. I have no traffic.
Okay, sounds great. Thanks for checking. We have you in the log. Any further check-ins, Southern Alberta?
Victor Alpha 6, Charlie Whiskey Mike.
Victor Alpha 6, Charlie Whiskey Mike. Good evening, Clark.
Good evening, Ryan. Yeah, no traffic on the hat. Yeah, I'm watching you on TV as well.
Fantastic. I'm glad some people are actually using it. Any further check-ins, Southern Alberta?
Victor Echo 6, Delta, Charlie.
Okay, was that Victor Echo 6 at Delta, Charlie?
That is correct, and I am QRU, and QRT.
And QRU and QRT is fine. Thanks for taking the time to check. Any further check-ins, Southern Alberta? Last call for Southern Alberta before we move on. Okay, let's flip the chair around and go north. Let's start off in the northwest section.
Victor Echo 6, X-Ray Echo.
Victor Echo 6, X-Ray Echo. Good evening.
Very good evening, Ryan. We have no traffic from Lake County, Grand Prairie.
Okay, sounds great. Thanks for checking, Lee. Have a great evening. Any further check-ins, Northwest Alberta?
Victor Alpha 6, Charlie Whiskey.
Victor Alpha 6, Charlie Whiskey. Top of the evening to you, Mark.
And good evening to you. No traffic out of High Prairie and early out. Thanks, Ryan.
Okay, and I'll mark you down with an early out. Thanks for checking. Any further check-ins, Northwest Alberta?
Victor Echo 6, Kilo Delta.
Victor Echo 6, Kilo Delta with a good signal. Good evening, Dave.
Good evening, Ryan. I have no traffic here with Sturgeon County, Southridge.
And 73 to you as well. Any further check-ins, Northwest Alberta?
Victor Echo 5, Foxtrot.
Victor Echo 5 Alpha Foxtrot. A nice signal coming out of Saskatchewan. Good evening.
Good evening. The name is Sarah, and I have no traffic. And thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. Any further check-ins? Northwest Alberta. Okay, Northeast Alberta.
Victor Echo 6, Golf Papa Tango.
Victor Echo 6 Golf Papa Tango. Good evening.
Yes, good evening, Ryan. You're sounding very good over here in Wellington. I've got nothing for the net. Not being announced. Thank you.
Sounds great. Thanks for checking, Gord. Any further check-ins? Northeast Alberta.
Victor Echo 6, Charlie Tango.
Victor Echo 6 Charlie Tango. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Ryan, and all on board. QRU from London, Alberta. Thank you.
And QRU is fine. Thanks for checking, Carl. Any further check-ins? Northeast Alberta. Okay, was that Victor Alpha 6 Bravo Tango Charlie? Victor Alpha 6 Alpha Tango Charlie. Sorry about that. I had a few static crashes that took you out. Thanks for checking. Appreciate it.
Wayward, the wrong call sign. 7-3.
Sounds great. Thanks for checking. Any further check-ins in Northeast Alberta? Did we miss anyone in the northern section?
Victor Echo 6, Foxtrot Tango.
Victor Echo 6 a Foxtrot Tango. Well, good evening, Hubert.
Very good evening to you, Ryan. I have no traffic. I expect to be around.
Okay, no traffic is great, and thanks for your help. We'll call on you shortly. Any further check-ins in Northeast Alberta? Did we miss anyone in the northern section? Do we have any check-ins Edmonton? Any check-ins Edmonton area? Victor Alpha 6 Kilo Papa. Good evening, Ken. No traffic is great. Thanks for checking. Any further check-ins Edmonton area? Good evening, Len. Victor Echo 6 Lima Whiskey Foxtrot.
Good evening, Ryan, and everyone listening. I have no traffic from Strathcona County.
And thanks for checking from Strathcona County. And there is a station underneath, Len. Go ahead.
V6 Juliet Victor.
Victor Echo 6 Juliet Victor. Good evening.
Yes, good evening. No traffic from my station. Just kind of late getting here, but glad I could check in.
And I'm glad you could make it. Thanks for checking, Peter. Any further check-ins Edmonton area? Okay, this is Victor Echo 6 Hotel Foxtrot with the Alberta Public Service Net and live streaming to YouTube. Do we have any check-ins Edmonton to Red Deer?
Victor Alpha 6 November Juliet Kilo.
Victor Alpha 6 in November Juliet Kilo. Good evening, Jim.
Good evening, Ryan, and everyone on that. No traffic from the Alberta side of Lloydminster. Thank you.
And thanks for checking from the right side of Lloydminster. Have a good evening, Jim. Any further check-ins? Where are we? Edmonton to Red Deer.
Victor Alpha 6 Charlie Hotel Kilo.
Victor Alpha 6 Charlie Hotel Kilo. Good evening, Chuck.
Well, good evening, Ryan. Nice to hear you. I have no traffic from Donalda.
And thanks for checking from Donalda. Any further check-ins? Edmonton to Red Deer.
Victor Echo 6 Tango Romeo Lima Bravo.
Victor Echo 6 Tango Romeo. Good evening.
Good evening, Ryan. Everybody on net. Hope you're doing well there. You're waiting to snow at least. No traffic from Tail Creek, and I'll be around it.
Okay, sounds great. Thanks for checking, Rob. Appreciate it. I'll put you on the side log. Appreciate the help. And there is another station underneath, Rob, I believe, ending in Romeo Lima Bravo. Good evening.
Good evening to you and everyone else. This is Victor Alpha 6 Romeo Lima Bravo from Vermilion. No traffic.
Okay, sounds great. Thanks for checking from Vermilion. Have a great evening. Any further check-ins, Edmonton to Red Deer? And there's the man of the hour. Good evening, Jim, at Victor Echo 6 at Juliet Romeo Romeo.
There you are, Ryan. Good to hear you tonight. Good signal, I guess, from here at this place anyhow. No traffic, and back to you.
Okay, sounds great. Thanks for checking from Coronation. Appreciate it. Any further check-ins? Edmonton to Red Deer. Okay, we'll move into the Red Deer area. We'll go Red Deer area, east and west.
Victor Alpha 6, Echo Foxtrot Hotel.
Victor Alpha 6, Echo Foxtrot Hotel. Good evening, Ed.
Evening, no traffic, Savannah, and we actually got a little bit of moisture.
Well, we need the moisture, so I guess that's a good thing. Thanks for checking, Ed. Appreciate it. Any further check-ins? Central Alberta, Red Deer, east and west.
Delta.
And good evening, Darcy. Victor Echo 6, a Delta.
Oh, on the wrong antenna at 10 watts. Guys, hear me? No traffic. I'll be around till the end.
Okay, sounds great. Thanks for the help later on. You're actually an S3 here with your 10 watts on the wrong antenna. So whatever you're doing, it's still working, kind of. Any further check-ins? Central section, Red Deer, east and west.
How about now, B6 Triple B?
Oh, now you're 10 over 9. Any further check-in? Central section, Red Deer, east and west. Okay, did we miss anyone in Alberta?
Victor Echo 6, Echo Bravo Mike.
Victor Echo 6, Echo Bravo Mike. Good evening, Marcia.
Good evening, sir. No traffic.
And no traffic's fine. Thanks for checking. Any further check-ins, Alberta? Go ahead, the CW. Okay, sounds great. Victor Echo 6, a Yankee X-Ray Hotel. Bill, QRU and QRT. Thanks for checking. Any further check-ins? Alberta, later missed. Victor Echo 6, Charlie, Quebec. Good evening.
Good evening. Nothing from Calgary.
And nothing from Calgary is fine. Big signal as always. Thanks for checking. Any further check-ins? Later missed, Alberta.
Victor Echo 6, Juliet Whiskey.
Victor Echo 6 at Juliet Whiskey. Good evening, Neil.
Good evening, and I'm going to be going back to my movies.
Sounds great. Enjoy your movie, and thanks for stopping in. Any further check-ins? Later missed, Alberta.
Victor Echo 6, Tango Hotel X-Ray.
Victor Echo 6 at Tango Hotel X-Ray. Good evening, Darren.
Hey, good evening. No traffic here in Sturgeon County. Thanks for what you do.
And thanks for taking the time to check. Appreciate it. Any further check-ins? Any later missed, Alberta? Last call for later missed, Alberta, before we move on. Okay, nothing heard. We'll move to the east now. Let's take check-ins from Saskatchewan.
B5 Kilo Charlie.
Well, good evening, Ken. Victor Echo 5 Kilo Charlie.
Good evening, Ryan. You're sounding good here. A little cooler like the forecast, but all that rain that they had in the forecast, we haven't seen much, just some light showers, a bit of sprinkling here and there, not mounting to very much, but anyway, that's okay. Other than that, all well. Have yourself a good evening. Goodbye. Stay safe.
Yeah, we're still waiting for the rain to start here. I think it's coming this evening yet. Thanks for checking, Ken. Appreciate it. Any further check-ins, Saskatchewan? Victor Echo 5, Mike Uniform. Good evening.
Good evening. Ryan, nice signal. No traffic, much fast. We did get a little bit of rain today.
Okay, well, we need the moisture, so that's a good thing. Thanks for checking, John. Appreciate it. And Brent, Victor Echo 5, Sugar Whiskey Lima. Good evening.
Good evening, Ryan. I have no traffic. Have a nice evening.
And you have a nice evening as well. Any further check-ins, Saskatchewan?
Victor Echo 5, Mike Kilo Alpha.
Victor Echo 5, Mike Kilo Alpha. Good evening, Mark.
Nothing for net tonight, watching your live stream there on YouTube, and looking pretty good.
Great. I'm glad you're able to find it. Thanks for checking. Appreciate it, Mark. Any further check-ins? Saskatchewan.
V5 Victor Golf.
Good evening, Garth. Victor Echo 5 Victor Golf.
Good evening. I have no traffic for net.
And nothing for net is fine. Thanks for checking. Any further check-ins? Saskatchewan.
Victor Alpha 6 Bravo Mike Kilo.
And good evening, Brad. Victor Alpha 6 at Bravo Mike Kilo.
Good evening to you and everybody else on frequency. Where QRU?
And QRU is fine. Thanks for checking. Any further check-ins? Saskatchewan. Last call for Saskatchewan before we move on. Do we have any check-ins in Manitoba? Victor Echo 4 Delta Romeo Charlie. Dale, thanks for checking. We have you with no traffic. Any further Manitoba stations this evening? Do we have anyone east of Alberta? Last call for east of Alberta before we move on. Okay, this is Victor Echo 6 Hotel Foxtrot with the Alberta Public Service Net and streaming to YouTube. We're looking for stations in the north section now. We'll go Alaska, Yukon, Northwest Territories, or Nunavut. Anyone in the north for the APSN? Does Alaska, Yukon, Northwest Territories, or Nunavut? Okay, we'll go to the US of A. Do we have any American stations this evening? Alpha Lima 2 Bravo. Good evening.
Hey, good evening to you, and thanks for taking my check-in. Good signal down here tonight, all the safety. So, 73, have a good evening.
Okay, and 73 to you as well. Thank you so much for checking. Any further check-ins at US of A? Last call for US of A before we move on. Okay, nothing heard. We'll move into the BC section. So we'll start in Vancouver Island. Do we have any check-ins Vancouver Island? Any check-ins Lower Mainland, Fraser Valley, Sunshine Coast? Do we have any check-ins Southern Interior?
Yeah, at 7 Hotel down in Quebec, Ryan.
Okay, do you mind picking them up, Brian?
No problem. The 7 Hotel down in Quebec. Good evening, Uncle Dave. Anything for us? Okay. Oh, you're more than welcome anytime, Dave. Go ahead, Ryan.
Okay, thanks for picking up him up, Brian. Yeah, he's pretty weak into my station. Any further check-ins? British Columbia. We're looking for Vancouver Island, Lower Mainland, Fraser Valley, Sunshine Coast, or Southern Interior. Victor Echo 7 Lima Juliet Mike. Good evening, Cliff.
Good evening, and good evening to all on net. No traffic here in Naramata. Back to that 73. Then you got a great signal tonight.
And you're nice and loud into my station as well. Thanks for checking. Any further check-ins? British Columbia, Southern Interior. Victor Echo 7 Victor Echo Bravo. Good evening, Brian. And nothing from Cranbrook is just fine. Thanks for checking. Any further check-ins? Southern Interior.
Victor Echo 7 Juliet Bravo, Quebec.
Victor Echo 7 Juliet Bravo, Quebec. Good evening, Jason.
Hey, good evening, Ryan, and everybody else aboard. Good signal tonight. You're full S9 coming to my station. Other than that, I got nothing for you from the West Kootenays.
Okay, sounds great. You have a nice loud signal into my station here. And may I call on you later?
Yeah, Roger, no problem. I'll be here.
Sounds great. Thanks for checking. Any further check-ins? We're looking for Vancouver Island, Lower Mainland, Fraser Valley, Sunshine Coast, or Southern Interior. Okay, let's move into the central northern BC section. Any later missed British Columbia? And nothing heard. Did we miss any stations, any direction for the Alberta Public Service Net?
VE6 Delta Whiskey Delta.
Victor Echo 6 Delta Whiskey Delta. Good evening.
Good evening, Ryan. Hope you're doing well. I know on net, and I have no traffic from Water Valley.
Sounds great. Thanks for checking, Wayne. Appreciate it. Any further check-ins anywhere for the Alberta Public Service Net?
Victor Alpha 7 Romeo Yankee Lima.
Victor Alpha 7 Romeo Yankee Lima. Good evening, Bob.
Yeah, very good evening to you, Ryan. Very good evening to all on net. No traffic from Williams Lake. Have a great evening. 7-3.
And you have a great evening as well. Thanks for checking. Any further check-ins anywhere for the APSN?
Victor Echo 7 Alpha Bravo Romeo.
Victor Echo 7 Alpha Bravo Romeo. Good evening.
Good evening. Also check Christine, Victor Echo 7 November Sierra Tango. Hopefully you guys are getting as good as weather as we are.
Yeah. We're still waiting for the snow to come in some places anyways, especially where I am, but it's on its way from what I hear. Thanks for checking, Martin and Christine. Appreciate it.
Yeah, catch you later. Thanks.
Any further check-ins anywhere for the APSN?
6 Oscar Bravo.
Victor Echo 6 Oscar Bravo. Good evening, Ian.
A little bit late, but we made it. Good evening. Nothing from here.
Better late than never. Thanks for checking. Any further check-ins anywhere for the APSN? Any check-ins anywhere for the Alberta Public Service Net?
Victor Echo 6 Quebec uniform.
Victor Echo 6 Quebec uniform. Good evening, George.
Good evening, Ryan, and all on net. I have no traffic.
And no traffic is just fine. Thanks for checking. Any further check-ins anywhere for the Alberta Public Service Net?
E7 X-ray go.
The E7 X-ray Golf. Good evening, Jerry.
Yeah, good evening from Caribbean, and we have nothing for you.
And no news is good news. Thanks for checking. Any further check-ins anywhere for the Alberta Public Service Net?
Victor Echo 7 Papa Bravo Foxtrot.
And good evening, Frank. Victor Echo 7 Poor Broke Farmer.
Hey, good evening, Ryan. It's running good this way. I have no traffic for that. 7, please.
And 73 to you as well. Thanks for checking. Any further check-ins anywhere for the APSN? Any stations anywhere for the Alberta Public Service Net? Well, I think that's all that I can do for now. If I can hand this over to the relays and maybe they can offer a helping hand. In the order of appearance, we'll pass it over to Lindsay, Victor Echo 6 Lima Romeo, then over to Brian, Victor Echo 6 X-Ray X-Ray, over to Hubert, Victor Echo 6 Foxtrot Tango, then over to Rob, Victor Echo 6 Tango Romeo, then over to Darcy, Victor Echo 6 Delta Delta Delta, and then to Jason, Victor Echo 7 Juliet Bravo Quebec, and then finally to Dawn, Victor Echo 6 Juliet Yankee. So thanks, guys. I appreciate your help.
Yeah, real good. Thanks, Ryan. Beautiful signals tonight. Nice to hear the band in good shape. This is Victor Echo 6 Lima Romeo relay for APSN, looking for anyone in any direction. Victor Echo 7 Sierra Charlie. Victor Echo 7 Sierra Charlie. Sounds like Phil. It is indeed. Good evening to you. Run my call sign as well, VE7 Kilo Juliet Romeo, and I have a friend visiting from Argentina. I'm going to put him on the mic here. Okay, how are you? This is LU7 Yankee Sierra, Sergio from Patagonia, South Argentina. Nice to meet you. Yeah, real good. Very good to meet you as well. And thank you very much for checking into the Alberta Public Service that muy fuerte signal, as they tend to address. And we've got no traffic, obviously. Thank you. Yeah, have a very good evening. Any further, any direction, APSN? Victor Echo 7, Bravo Golf Papa. Good evening, Jerry.
Good evening, everybody on the Alberta net. No traffic back to the BC net.
Real good. No traffic is just fine, and I understand you're returning to the BC net. Have a very good evening. Any further stations, APSN? Kilo Lima 7, Quebec Kilo. Good evening, Ned.
Good evening. No traffic from Shaw Island. Thank you. Have a good night.
Yeah, no traffic from Shaw. And thanks. Have a very good evening. Victor Echo 7, Charlie November Zulu. And no traffic is just fine. Thanks for checking in. Any further, any direction, APSN? Any further stations in any direction, APSN, call V6LR.
E5, Bravo,
Alpha Hotel Key. I got a couple of you there. First, Blair, Victor Echo 5, Bravo Whiskey Sierra.
Good evening to everyone this evening, and VE5 JEN in the shack with me. And boy, a pretty breezy day. A bunch of gusting up 60 there from the east southeast. Just come back from a walk and drove pretty good. We didn't get any rain or anything, but that's about 15 degrees. It wasn't too bad. No further traffic. Have a good evening, over.
No further traffic is just fine. You and Jen have a very good evening. Thanks for checking in. And Victor Echo 7 Alpha Hotel Kilo. Go ahead, Alex. Victor Alpha 7 Alpha Hotel Kilo. Go ahead up there, Alex. Maybe he's got problems there, Lindsay. Go ahead. Yeah, no problem. And we'll listen for him later on as well. Any further, later missed any direction? Victor Echo 6 Lima Romeo asking. One last call from this station, V6LR, looking for later missed APSN. Microphone over you, Mr. Hind, V6 X-ray X-ray, V6LR.
Okay, thanks for that. The 6XX for net control, Alberta Public Service Net, and it is looking for any further later missed check-ins, any direction, anywhere.
Uniform Romeo November.
Yes, CW stand by, please. The 7 Uniform Romeo November. Good evening, Bruce. Anything from South Burnaby?
Yeah, good evening, Brian, and all on board. Yeah, long time no work with you. But glad to hear you tonight. No traffic though for you, 7-3.
No traffic is good. You're 5 over 9, Bruce. But if my antenna was on top of a 24-story building, I could do that too. The CW station, not acknowledged. Please go ahead. The 6 Alpha Delta Mike on continuous wave. Good evening, Mr. Blair. Anything for us? Okay, and 2RT as well as having no traffic. Thanks for that, George. Good to hear you. Nice CW. We're looking for any further later missed check-ins, any direction, anywhere, Alberta Public Service Net. Nothing heard. VG6 Fox Tango. Mr. Johnson, sir, would you be so kind?
Well, thank you, Mr. Hines. I will.
This is Victor Echo 6 Fox Tango.
Service Net, looking for later missed check-ins. Any direction, anywhere. Are there any later missed check-ins anywhere for the Alberta Public Service Net? Nothing here, Rob. It's your turn. VE6TR, VE6FT.
Thanks very much, Hubert. This is Victor Echo 6 Tango Romeo relay for Alberta Public Service Net. Are there any later missed stations in any direction wishing to check the Alberta Net? Any stations, any direction wishing to check the Alberta Net? I think Lindsay's vacuum was turned up pretty high. There's nothing much left here, but give it a shot there, Darcy, V6VV, V6TR.
Yeah, thanks, Rob, and I totally agree. This is Victor Echo 6 Delta 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 relaying for the Alberta Public Service Net, looking for later missed check-ins, any direction. Anybody, anywhere is for the APSN, B6BB relay. B7 Juliet Bravo, Quebec. See if you can scare anybody up.
Sounds good, Darcy. We'll give it a try anyway. This is Victor Echo 7 Juliet Bravo Quebec relay for the Alberta Public Service Net. Looking for stations later missed in any direction. Come now. Last call for any later missed stations in any direction for the Alberta Public Service Net. Come now. All right, there was a Victor Echo 2 Kilo Zulu, I believe. Good evening. The $100 station, come again. Or don't. All right, still looking for later missed stations in any direction for the Alberta Public Service Net. Come now.
That was B2 Tango Oscar Whiskey.
All right, Victor Echo 2, can you give me your suffix one more time? I believe it's Kilo Zulu, is that correct?
Tango Oscar Whiskey.
Victor Echo 2, Tango Oscar Whiskey, is that correct? Yeah, Victor Echo 2, Kilowatt Zulu, good evening. Go ahead. Sorry, I walked on you. Go ahead again. Victor Echo 2, Kilo Zulu. Go ahead. V6JY, are you hearing that station over there?
Somewhat, yeah. That's B2 Kilo Zulu with no traffic, over.
Okay, thanks for that. I couldn't get the no traffic part, but I could copy his call sign anyway. Thanks for taking the time to check there, Victor Echo 2, Kilo Zulu. You have yourself a good evening. All right, do we have any other stations later missed in any direction for the Alberta Public Service Net? Come now.
Victor Alpha 6, Echo Bravo Romeo.
Victor Alpha 6, Echo Bravo Romeo. Good evening.
Good evening to you too. No traffic from Calgary, 7-3.
No traffic from Calgary is just fine. Thanks for taking the time this evening. All right, one more call for any later missed stations in any direction for the Alberta Public Service Net. Come now. V6JY, do that or try there, Don. Maybe you can get a couple. V7JBQ.
No, there can't be too many left. V6JY for the Alberta Net. Anybody, anywhere. Anybody, anywhere for the Alberta Public Service Net. Nothing here, Ryan.
Sounds great. Thank you, Don, and everyone for your help. We'll make one last call. Victor Echo 6 Hotel Foxtrot, a net control for the Alberta Public Service Net, looking for any station, any direction. Any station, anywhere for the Alberta Public Service Net. Come now. Having completed all business, I'd like to thank you all for your cooperation, your check-ins, and a special thanks to my relay stations for lending a helping hand. The relays tonight were Victor Echo 6 Lima Romeo, Victor Echo 6 X-Ray X-Ray, Victor Echo 6 Foxtrot Tango, Victor Echo 6 Tango Romeo, Victor Echo 6 Delta Delta Delta, Victor Echo 7 Juliet Bravo Quebec, and Victor Echo 6 Juliet Yankee. The net will now close, and your net control station Victor Echo 6 Hotel Foxtrot will be clear of the Alberta Public Service net, turning the frequency over to regular use. Have a good night, everyone, and 73.
Good net, Brian.
Yeah, thanks, Brian, and thanks, everyone, for your help. Tonight's total was 90.
Good note. Thanks, Brian. B6J what?